Good afternoon, this is Sean Golding with Golding & Golding, here to discuss the Form 8938 late file penalty, how to avoid, minimize, or abate those penalties. Form 8938 is a creature of FATCA. FATCA is the Foreign Account Tax and Compliance Act. For taxpayers, it came into effect in 2011, so for 2011 tax returns completed in 2012, the IRS introduced Form 8938. It's not just individuals, corporations, entities, trust estates may have to file the 8938, but for purposes of this introduction, we're going to focus on individuals. The foreign financial institutions, they have their own reporting they have to do, automatic exchange of information, it's much more detailed. For the individual, it basically boils down to a Form 8938. It's filed each year with a tax return. To clarify, individual means U.S. person. U.S. person generally has three categories to it: U.S. citizen by birth or naturalization, legal permanent resident, aka green card holder, or foreign national who meets the substantial presence test in that tax year. That generally will include visa holders such as B1, B2 tourist visa, L1 transfer, H1B work visa, E2, E3, EB5, O1, etc., etc. Unlike the FBAR, which has to be filed even if a person doesn't have to file a tax return, assuming they meet the threshold requirement, the Form 8938 is only filed when the tax return is filed. So if a taxpayer does not have to file a tax return, they don't have to independently file a tax return just to file an 8938. Common situation is a person may have significant amounts of money overseas, but it's not generating sufficient income to require the filing of a tax return. There's different threshold requirements depending on the taxpayer. So there's married filing joint, married filing separate, single, U.S. resident versus foreign resident. A U.S. person filing single will file Form 8938 in any year that they have more than $50,000 on the last day of the year. Alternatively, if they have less than $50,000 but more than $75,000 on any other day of the year, they still file. You can compare this to a married couple filing overseas. Those two numbers, 50,000 and 75,000, jump up to 400,000 and 600,000. So it's important to make sure you even meet the threshold before filing. The form is going to require several what's called specified foreign financial assets. It's primarily your bank accounts unless excluded, life insurance, foreign retirement, foreign pension, investment accounts, stock, things of that nature. What happens when you file it late? The IRS can give you a penalty. Now, the 8938 penalty is given less than several other forms you read about, but it's still issued. The initial penalty is $10,000. Then if you don't file it timely, after 90 days, it's another $10,000, and there's a continuing penalty every 30 days until you get to $50,000. So the penalties can get up there. In addition, most individuals who approach us, 8938 is just one of the many hassles they have to deal with regarding their foreign unreported assets, accounts, investments, and income. So there might be other penalties associated with other forms for the same asset. In order to avoid the penalties or to minimize or limit the penalties, taxpayers have various amnesty options. There's traditional voluntary disclosure. That's for people who are willful or cannot certify under penalty of perjury that they're non-willful, and those penalties can be pretty significant. Most people will opt for the streamlined domestic offshore procedures or streamlined foreign offshore procedures. Streamlined domestic carries a 5% penalty. Streamlined foreign is a complete penalty waiver. So with streamlined foreign, especially if it's an expatriate, works overseas, pays tax overseas, qualifies for the foreign earned income exclusion, they may have no penalty and no tax due. So I don't want you to think there's an automatic penalty just because you didn't file it timely, despite all the garbage you read online from some of these scaremongering, fear-mongering websites. There are alternatives to the streamlined program as well. There's a delinquent international information return submission procedures. It's a mouthful. You'll see it online as DIIRSP. There's the delinquent FBAR submission procedures, and of course there's reasonable cause. Though noting in the 8938 instructions, it does note that just because the foreign country will not give you the information, or that it's illegal in the foreign country to report account information to the U.S. or to a foreign country, will not qualify as reasonable cause. So you may want to speak to an experienced practitioner. We have lots of free information on our main website, goldinglawyers.com. We also have a sister website, IRSStreamlineProcedures.com, to help guide you through the streamlined procedures. Again, my name is Sean Golding with Golding & Golding. Thank you very much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day.